Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What we have done till now, let me check it. Okay. Mhm. Okay, we have started the FA1 and we did with the business transaction, and now and this we have types of business transaction, then we have cash in hand and credit transaction. Yeah, we done terminology and then some MCQs. Okay, then methods of payment. We have discussed the method of payment, and today we have to discuss the petty cash. That what is petty cash? Then we will do some MCQs. Clear? So let me do it for you first. Then after that we will just go through the book stuff. Clear? Now, wait here. Uh, okay. Okay. Number one, what is petty cash? First, you have petty cash. You have to understand that what is petty cash. So, a petty cash is a small amount of cash on hand for minor means small routine business expenses. What I'm saying is petty cash is a small amount of cash on hand for minor routine business expenses. What does it mean? It means that, let's say, you want office supply. You want to purchase office supply. For example, you need office supply. Office supply means item like pens, like paper, like stapler, and other stuff like that. For that, you need a small amount of cash on your hand so you can pay for it. Let's say you don't have petty cash, you don't have a small amount of cash, and you want to purchase the pen, and you just write on the check that okay, I need. You just write a check that you want to purchase that particular pen. So that will be just a ridiculous thing. Okay, so for small for minor or routine business transaction, for transaction you need some cash, and that a cash amount we call it is a petty cash. Clear? Okay, let me give you another example. Let's say travel expenses. Travel expenses. For example, you are using a public transportation for business purposes. Let's say you want to purchase something, and then you just travel to the public transportation. Then the amount of fare you pay, that will be a minor cost, and that you should pay through the petty cash. Clear? Or some delivery charges and other thing like this. Okay. Now, what is the purposes of petty cash? What are the purposes of petty cash? Let me try it here. Purposes of petty cash. So, the purpose of petty cash is to facilitate quick and convenient. Transaction for small expenses. So the purpose of petty cash, why we are holding the petty cash, what are the reason? So the reason is to facilitate the convenient and quick transaction for small expenses. Clear? Now why we need petty cash? Okay, I have discussed about the petty cash purpose. Now why we need petty cash? Okay, why we need petty cash? Why we need petty cash? So we need a petty cash for ease of access to funds for small incidental purchases. Okay, so when we do some incidental purchases or minor expenses, and for that we need petty cash. Clear? Okay, now who will be responsible for managing the petty cash? So the designated petty cash custodian, usually one person at a time, is responsible for the petty cash. And how to properly manage petty cash? Appoint a custodian responsible for the fund, set a fixed amount for the fund, and keep record of disbursement, regularly reconcile and replenish the fund. So in summary, I will say that petty cash is a convenient resource for small business expenses managed through a designated custodian to ensure proper use and accountability. Now it requires careful tracking and documentation to maintain financial accuracy and prevent misuse of theft. Okay, now let's move on to the actual stuff which is there in the book. Okay, if you see here, petty cash. Most businesses prefer to make as few payment in notes and coins, and cash, as possible. So most of the businesses prefer to make payment through check or some electronics method that we have discussed earlier in the previous lecture, the four method we have discussed. So most of the businesses want to do their payment through electronic or some other means instead of using the notes or coins, a cash. Why? Because it is more secure to pay by check and online, because there is a less risk of loss or theft. So there, if you are holding cash, then there is a risk that you may lose the cash amount, or there may be some there may be theft happen to you. So the basic reason is most businesses prefer to pay through check or some online method. They are using online method, but you have to maintain some amount of cash, and the reason is what we have discussed earlier, that for minor business transaction you need amount that you don't need to pay a check through an online. Let's say you are just using our public transportation, then for that you don't have that facility that you just use a check or online method. So for that reason you have to you have to carry some cash with your hand, and then you will pay through that cash. So for a small minor business activity, you need a small amount of cash. However, sometimes it's more convenient or even necessary to make payment in cash. It's fine with what we have discussed earlier. Now, example of the item that might be business in cash might be number one. Let's say you are payment for you want to pay for a small business expenses, then like copy, biscuit, etc. So for that you need a petty cash. You want to pay a taxi fare, for that you also need a petty cash. You just using a public transportation like rail and bus, for that purpose you also need a petty cash. Let's say your your employees off sick, so for that you want to purchase some flour for him, and you want to send that flour to your employee, so for that flour you also need a petty cash. So a small amount of cash and held on business premises for such a purposes mean for all these things you need to hold some cash and your business premises. Clear? And business that is really make a cash transaction, such as large engineering firms, this is convenient. And this is in the engineering firms or any other big organization where this is where it's infrequent cash transaction, then a small amount of cash is kept on site, and this is convenient for occasional cash payment, ensure quick access when needed. Clear? Now this is the first thing, that petty cash handling. Let me write here, petty cash handling. The first one is business premises cash. Business premises cash. And what I have told you, that in business with infrequent cash transaction, for example like large engineering firms, a small amount of cash is kept on site. Clear? And it is for convenient, it's convenient for occasional cash payment. The third one is ensure quick access when needed. Now the second thing you see here, in this type of business that regularly handle cash, and the type of business that regularly handle cash, such as the restaurant, it is usually to keep small amount of petty cash separate from income received from sale. So this is the second thing about petty cash handling, that separate petty cash part. Separate petty cash burn. It means that for businesses handling a regular cash like restaurant, a separate petty cash burn is maintained, and this burn is distinct from income received from sale, and help reconcile cash receipt with meal regards and investigate a discrepancy. Clear? Now let's talk about let's talk about the advantages and consideration. Let me go down. Let me write here. Just talk about this. Okay, it's very important because in most of MCQs you may be asked about this. Okay, let me write here. Advantages and consideration. Okay, advantages. First, let me write advantage. Convenience. I think I just write wrong spelling. CONVNE, like this. I think maybe you check it. So the first one is convenience, mean petty cash allow immediate payment without delay. Okay. The second thing is about flexibility. the flexibility. This is the advantage of petty cash, that it is flexible, mean useful for ad hoc expenses. Okay, so this is the flexibility. The third thing is control, means help monitor small transactions. Small transactions can be help in monitoring a small transaction. These are the advantages. Let's talk about consideration. The first thing in consideration is security, and we have already discussed that petty cash should be safeguarded against theft. Okay, the second consideration here is record keeping. Record keeping, it means that proper documentation is crucial. Okay, and the third one consideration you hear with that is reconciliation, which means that regularly reconcile petty cash to maintain accuracy. Clear? So remember, when a petty cash is handy, proper management and accountability are essential to ensure transparency and prevent misuse. Clear? Now let's discuss about the MCQs. One by one we'll discuss, and then we will just wind up this lecture. Clear? Okay, here the first MCQs is, okay, let me okay, you see here the first MCQs is, what is the primary purpose of maintaining petty cash? Why we are maintaining the petty cash? And we have already discussed that we just want to pay for the minor expenses. So the option C is the correct, to handle minor expense promptly. So I mean petty cash is specifically used for small immediate expenses like office supply or taxi fare. So we have done with this MCQ. The concept is clear. Now let's move on. Okay, here, in which type of business is it useful to keep separate petty cash fund? When we need to maintain a separate petty cash fund, and we have discussed the example of restaurant, because restaurant regularly handle cash and benefit from separate petty cash fund for tracking expenses. What are the benefit of maintaining separate petty cash fund? Is to track for tracking expenses. Clear? So this one we have already discussed. Now let's move on. Here I think third MCQs number third. Okay, wait a minute. You see here, what is the key consideration when managing petty cash? So ensuring maximum security, keep a detailed record, and let's talk about key consideration using it for large transaction, reconciling with the sale income. So keep detailed record as the consideration. Proper documentation is crucial to track petty cash transaction accurately, and we have also discussed this one out. Now let's move on, and this is MCQ number 4. Here, why is petty cash considered convenient? Why it's convenient? Because to ensure immediate payment, petty cash provide quick access for small and urgent payment, and this one also done. And the last one is, what is the primary purpose of reconciling petty cash? To maintain transparency. Why we reconcile petty cash? And the purpose is just transparency. We want to maintain transparency, and for that reason we have to reconcile the petty cash regularly. Clear? The regular reconciliation ensure accuracy and petty cash management. I think this is the last one MCQs. So we have just done with the petty cash, that we have done with the petty cash, that what are the, why we need petty cash, what are the purpose of petty cash, and we have also discussed that business premises cash, petty cash handling and separate petty cash fund. And why we maintain separate petty cash fund? Because when the business with a handling with regular cash like restaurant, that need to maintain a separate petty cash fund. And what will be the advantage? That advantage will be, we sample that it will be easy to track your expenses. Clear? So for today this is enough. Inshallah, I will continue in the next lecture. This is lecture number 3. Thank you.